All right, welcome back to LearnWire. We're going to be doing something a little different in this video. We're going to be exploring some of the new plugins, or at least attempting to, inside of ChatGPT. You can see that they've changed their layout a little bit recently. You can see that they've changed. Now you don't have to do a drop down. You can just one click away. That's pretty cool. So you can choose a GPT-4 or a 3.5. They did away with a legacy. So there used to be two versions of GPT 3.5 that you could choose from. Now they're just basically defaulting to just one, right? So there's two options there. Another thing that we'll maybe explore, leave a comment below if you want me to explore some of these keywords everywhere options. These actually have come in handy. Where I've been able to just click please continue. That's really helped. And then if we come over here, you'll actually see under templates, there's a bunch of different things we can do. And this is keywords everywhere. I didn't really do anything extra to get these installed. I think that it's because of the extension somehow. They linked this extension with automatically having this installed, something like that. Because I didn't really do anything, but they're now inside of my ChatGPT. Kind of interesting. I might mess around with that in another video, but for now, let's go. And I haven't watched any other video, so just bear with me. I completely don't know what I'm doing as far as how to install the plugins. I saw one person using like an SEO plugin. I want to go see how easy it is to find and use. Okay, so we're gonna come over here and let's go over to settings, and then it looks like if you go to beta features, you can turn on web browsing and you can turn on plugins. Now I don't know the answer to this, if you're able to turn all this stuff on in the free version or not. It says as a plus user. Okay, so I just answered my own question. As a plus user, enjoy early access to experimental new features, which may change during development. In this case, web browsing, try a version of ChatGPT that knows when and how to browse the internet to answer questions about recent topics and events. So this is that web scraping ability that has been my complaint over the last 6+ months, that this technology has been out, ChatGPT, and it's just been taking over the internet by storm. If you go to their site and you actually look at like the vitals of the site, like their traffic is like almost 1.5, almost 2 million visitors a month. So it's one of the highest trafficked websites on earth. And so they're faced with handling that amount of traffic as well. But looks like they finally have a stable version of, and a lot of information. And so they've finally added the dream come true web browsing and web scraping. So super cool. Gets to a point where there's really nothing that this software, this AI is not going to be able to do. Again, other tools, though, I think will always be relevant because they'll always think of creative and innovative ways to use this technology that is outside of what the scope is of ChatGPT, right? So I think that there's always going to be validity and value to third-party apps depending on what problem they are solving for users, right? And then we have the plugins right here. Try a version of ChatGPT that knows when and how to use third-party plugins that you enable. So we just enabled that, and I'm just going to go ahead and push a refresh on the browser real quick. Okay, perfect. And you can see this. I use this every day in my business at this point. Super cool stuff. I'm going to hover over GPT-4. We have our default, we have our browsing mode, and we have our plugins. Let's go and select browsing mode. Looks like GPT-4 currently has a cap of 25 messages every 3 hours. So let's just say who won the NBA playoff game last night. I'm not even going to tell it what teams played or anything. Let's just push enter and see if it can answer. Browsing the web right now. The NBA playoff game result of May 18th. That's correct because today's May 19th. So it's looking at the game last night, and I believe it was the Lakers. It was the Lakers and the Nuggets. So let's look. The Denver Nuggets won their NBA playoff game against an unspecified team. So that right there, not good. With a score of 108 to 103. Let's go and look at the NBA score. NBA scores. Let's go see. So it was 108 to 103. So that is correct. But the fact that it's not pulling up the Lakers, that's kind of interesting. That part right there just shows that there's still some limitations and it's not perfect against an unspecified team with a score of 108. Thanks to a standout performance by Jamal Murray, who scored 23 of his 37 points in the fourth quarter. That is 100% accurate as well. The Miami Heat also won their game against the Boston Celtics with a score of 123-16, but that was the day before. So you can't, 100% rely on this, but this is way better. And the possibilities are going to be there for sure for it to get factual information for us. So it did get the Jamal Murray, it did get the 23%, 23 points in the fourth quarter correctly as well. He did get 37 points. Just a couple little things that it didn't get right was it didn't say the Lakers against the Lakers. And then we didn't ask for it to talk about the Miami Heat and Boston game, which was the day before. So that's interesting. Maybe we can say, when is the next NBA game? And let's just see what ends up happening. Browsing the web. Here we go. And then what does this hover over? If we click this, search NBA reading content finished browsing. So it just gives us like a path of how it came up with the information. So the next NBA game is game 2 of the Eastern Conference Finals between the Miami Heat and Boston Celtics, which is scheduled for today at 8:30 p.m. We can click over here. It actually is getting a citation right here, or a reference. NBA playoffs right here, how to watch game 2 of the Heat and Celtics, right? So, and it is at 8:30 p.m. On May, that's not May 29th. It should be May 19th, right here, game 2, May 19th. So, that is pretty sick, if you ask me, that is able to do that. Of course, this isn't the first actual technology that has been out. There's been so many other applications that already beat OpenAI or ChatGPT to the game, to doing web scraping and so forth. There was apps that actually did this. The first couple of weeks that ChatGPT came out back in November or December of last year, when ChatGPT opened up and got its big craze and millions of people flooding to the site, and it's the coolest thing on earth. Well, they couldn't even scrape the web, and so other people built tools on top of that and actually show that you can do that, and it's actually pretty easy to do. But it's cool that they finally arrived at this. I mean, because we're talking, in ChatGPT's defense, they have a 1.5 billion people coming to their site, and they have tens of millions of users that are using their platform for free as well. And so it's the server space, bandwidth, all those kind of things, the resources is a lot bigger thing for them to worry about. So this is game changing. This is super, super cool. Okay, so I'm going to start a new chat, and let's go over here and look at what we can do next, which is the drop down menu, and go to plugins. So this should pop out some different options. No plugins enabled, but then we do a drop down right here, plugin store. Okay, cool. So plugins are powered by third-party applications and are not controlled by OpenAI. Be sure you trust the plugin before installation. I don't know if it's actually installing it on your machine or not, or if you're just installing it kind of as like an overlayer on top of the cloud, if you will. Plugins connect ChatGPT to external apps. Okay, so they would be different apps. If you enable a plugin, ChatGPT may send parts of your conversation and the country or state you're in the plugin to enhance your conversation. ChatGPT automatically chooses when to use plugins during a conversation, depending on the plugins you've enabled. Okay, cool. I like that they filled us in on that information. And here's what the plugin store looks like. We are zoomed in quite a bit, so you can see we got the plugin store, and how many plugins are there? So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's 8 plugins on each one times what, 10? So that would be 80 plugins. I want to push next, go to 10. Yeah, so there's 10 pages of about 8 on each time. It looks like there's about 79 applications if I had to calculate right off the top of my head. So there's going to be a bunch of different, we could go in here and just check out. Look at Brainwork has done something, find keywords, generate context briefs, all that kind of stuff. It is interesting to see some other AI platforms, content generation platforms that have already built their app on top of this, which is interesting to me because, I mean, I guess it's just interesting. I don't really know what else to say other than because, I mean, wouldn't Brainwork want to take people to their application to write content and make arguments that their content's better, or that they are using, maybe they're using OpenAI, and most of the good ones are using OpenAI as far as content generation, AI content generation softwares. I guess I'll just leave it at that. I think it's interesting that they're kind of like teaming up with OpenAI to put their plugin on there, if you will. But I'm gonna go, let's go look at the most popular. We got Instacart, Expedia. So we're starting to get to a point where now we can maybe tell, if we install the Expedia app, and then we say, hey, find me, the lowest cost one-stop flight to so such and such, right? In June. Between the hours of 5 and 7 p.m. is the departure time or something like that, right? Like maybe this app is, and using the ChatGPT and the fact that it has web browsing capabilities, maybe it's going to be able to do all of that right away. And in a sense, you guys have seen what Google's going to be doing with their AI search in the near future, is going to be able to do things like this as well. But it's just really cool to see that like OpenAI already beat Google to it, and we already have this capability. Super, super cool stuff. We got Kayak over here as well. So those look like they're the top 2, 4, 6, 8 right here. I'm going to go to, okay, so these are the new plugins. I'm sorry, guys. I just need to know my way around. So it looks like there's about 80 new plugins, but if we go to all plugins, I'm going to go click on 11 over here. Okay, yeah, so it looks like there's about 100 plugins, not too shabby right now. I'm sure this is going to grow like crazy. I don't see where you can actually search for a plugin, so I'm going to go ahead and just look for the one that I'm looking for. Okay, so there was a plugin here that I have seen some other people using. It's called SEO.app. But then I just read on a forum that it's actually gone for now, and they have to do some re-verification with OpenAI to get it back on here. So it's not